Welcome to the Pot.Live podcast. I'm your host, Lenny G. This podcast is all about connecting the community with the thought leaders of business and entertainment in the cannabis industry. As this industry expands and becomes more and more mainstream, we want to educate and entertain our listeners and become your choice and voice for all things cannabis. Thanks for joining us and enjoy the show. If you are into the recreational side of the cannabis industry, yes, stoners, I'm talking to you, then thepot.com is the online and mobile destination for you. That's right, THEPOT.com, thepot.com. Where else can you find the exclusive pot made of the month? Take a pot quiz and win prizes. Scroll through hilarious memes and jokes and check out the latest podcasts, news, and trends, all while having your own profile and voice in the pot.com forum. Visit thepot.com today and get lit. Welcome to another episode of the Pot.Live podcast. I'm your host, Lenny G, and today our special guest is Mr. Andrew Dorsett. He is the general manager of SparqOne, which is a rapidly growing cannabis distribution company. Andrew is a decorated veteran, and his logistic expertise stems from his time in the Marines, and most of the SparqOne management team has a background in highly advanced logistical planning and strategy. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Hello, Len. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So just for our listeners out there, we are recording this during the Corona crisis, if you will. Andrew, why don't we give a little background to our listeners, because we have some beginners, we have some experts, we have some business owners. Tell everybody what distribution and logistics is.
All right. So it's basically getting it from the manufacturer to the customer in the most efficient way possible. We tend to focus on efficiency and rapid fulfillment. One thing that we like to do that sets us apart is statewide in California, next day fulfillment. No matter where you are in the state, no matter where your shop is, if you want it the next day, you're going to get it. We built out our infrastructure very substantially, all the way from, we have facilities from Eureka all the way down to San Diego, and then east to west as well. So we got the whole state covered. Any shop you're in or that you frequent, you'll be able to find our products in there.
So basically brands come to your company and they need to get their brand out to the retail outlets and you assist in that flow, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. We've gone through and really made a very focused team with SparqOne, again, with the logistical background, the cannabis background across the board. So we focused this to ensure that minimal, obviously with everything going on right now, it's challenging, but minimal disruptions in supply chain. We have very strong partnerships with our brands that we carry to ensure that there's no lacking of products or no shortages for the foreseeable future.
Okay, so I want to go into your background a little bit, and then we'll jump back into what's going on in the current environment, especially in California where you're located. So give us a little background. You are from the military, you were a Marine. How did you go from that to jumping into this field?
Yeah, so interesting story. Joined the Marine Corps right out of high school. I'm an Indiana boy, born and raised. Right after high school, joined the Marines. I did 12 years. I was aviation ordnance, so I dealt with explosives. Toward the latter end of my career, I started dealing a lot more with international planning and logistics for movement of hazardous materials, people, all kinds of stuff. So after that, I left the Marine Corps in 2010, and I hired on with General Dynamics, doing foreign military sales. Again, global logistics for explosives, weapon systems, basically anything the government wanted to sell to our allies. Kind of lost my taste for the government side after a few years, and I went to Lowe's, the home improvement company, worked in a distribution center for them as an operations manager. I was injured pretty severely in the Marine Corps during a bombing, and so I had to have some surgeries done and a few other little things. So I left Lowe's and made a movie kind of randomly. It was a veteran-focused movie, and I kind of started getting a little antsy to get back to work and do some stuff. So opportunity presented itself here, and I took it, and I haven't looked back. I love it. The industry is amazing, the way it's growing and just impacting people in a positive way. Couldn't ask for more.
Wow. Well, it goes without saying, thank you for your service. We are a huge supporter of the vet community, and we have a lot of listeners that are vets. So thank you for sharing your experience there.
I appreciate that.
Let's go back now to the current environment. Like we said, we're in the middle of this crisis right now. cannabis has been deemed an essential business in many states, California definitely. Tell us how you're helping some of these businesses that may be struggling because people aren't going out and about as much, and how you're fulfilling some of those orders. Kind of go with a little 101 step-by-step of how it works, just so we can explain it to those that aren't familiar.
Of course. So when the shelter at home first was put in place, obviously nobody really knew exactly what was happening. With our footprint throughout the state, there's obviously concern, especially in the Bay Area, the first, and then Los Angeles after that. However, what we did, we put in a lot of practices within our facilities: social distancing, even staggered shifts, salaried personnel doing a rotating shift to come into the office to minimize how many people are around. We reached out to the shops, our partner shops and our partner brands. We explained very clearly what was going on. The most important thing we did was engage with the regulators. We talked with the state, we talked with the cities and all the counties involved to figure out our best game plan and way forward to do it safely, efficiently, and also to make sure that the consumer and our patients get what they need when they need it. So we've set it up. We actually dispersed some what we're calling rapid response teams to hit the areas with the highest demand at this point. So we have crews from Los Angeles that went up to the Bay. We sent some to Sacramento. We increased the manning of the Eureka facility and also our Santa Ana facility as well. So we were very dynamic with how we did that. And we wanted to make sure that the shop's seeing the biggest push from consumers and patients that they were taken care of. So we further dispersed the existing inventory as well into the hubs to ensure that it's a very quick fulfillment with minimal disruption. A lot of distributors and a lot of shops have either had to minimize manpower or really cut hours or cut their operating parameters. We're lucky with that. We have so many facilities throughout the state that we're able to mitigate the risk basically by having single point hubs where it's one person and maybe a sales rep helping with that. So it's helped us to be very dynamic and really fulfill things quickly throughout the state. Basically, the way it works is our reps will coordinate with the shops, or the shops will coordinate with us direct, put their order in, and we fulfill it. We run it through our processing system here, our inventory management system, of course, the state seed to sale tracking, which is called Metric, and we get it out the next day. We do it safely. I personally, at this point, inspect every single order, also every single driver that's going out to ensure they have the proper PPE and that they get a daily briefing on how to handle anything that happens. Risk mitigation is the biggest thing. To me, from the Marine Corps, I've always held the idea of mission first, people always. You don't have a mission without your people, and you don't have people without a mission. So we really take heart in taking care of our folks out there on the road. Their safety is absolutely our number one priority.
Yeah, you kind of jumped into what my next question was going to be. So elaborate a little on how your background being in a high leverage situation such as the military has translated into, this is a different type of crisis, right? Where it's really affecting, your average Joe in our society. How are you able to tell your workers to remain calm and how to basically adapt to any situation? Because this is new for everyone here.
Absolutely. That's a great question. And honestly, I got to give a lot of credit to the Marine Corps at this point. I was never the type to scream and yell in the Marines. I never raised my voice, pretty calm. But it does give you a lot of tools to be able to manage a crisis and to really stay calm, just to really get a good focus on things, to take a step back, observe what's going on, and hit things deliberately. And that's how we're approaching this. We have, again, multiple briefings daily with the crew, be it electronic through Zoom or Google Hangouts or whatever, telephonically, email. We maintain social distancing in here, and we're just constantly reassuring them, letting them know that even though they're lucky, I'm lucky, all of us are in the industry, that we still have jobs. A lot of Americans right now, people around the world as well, are not working. They're hurting, and we know that and we see that. So reiterating that and that the fact that without safety and without really being deliberate in our actions and careful, we could increase that risk. Since our drivers are out there on the road, they're interacting with people. It's very, very important that when they're at the shops, they maintain that social distancing, that they're careful, they're following all the guidelines put in place by the state, by localities, and the federal government as well.
Yeah, you jog my thought process here, even though it's not really about the situation. We can relate it. Let me clarify what I'm trying to ramble on about here. So on social media, everybody's all over social media trying to get information, and there's so much misinformation out there, right, on how to handle certain situations. And I'm sure, once again, I'm going back to your military background. I'm sure that you had to have certain strategies in place for when something was when you guys were misinformed or when it was actual fact. How do you think people just in general should consume the stuff that they're seeing online, because everyone's home, so everything's either on TV or online that they're getting their information? And how do you digest fact from fiction in your own mind?
Again, another terrific question, something that's very important right now. So I delve into legitimate sources in regards to regulations, compliance, health orders. We go straight to the source. We call the county, we call the cities, we call the state government. We get what their official guidance and information is. And obviously trusted news sources. We vet anything that we pass to our team. It's vetted through multiple sources. We don't just pull up one website and go with it. We review it amongst the executive team. We make a decision as to how to move forward, and then we proceed and we brief them appropriately. There's a lot of fluff out there. There's a lot of, like you said, misinformation going on. And it's incumbent upon us, especially in the position we are, where we're considered an essential business. So the health of all of our people, it's in our hands, and we take that very seriously. So we don't want to spread misinformation. We don't want anyone amongst the team spreading that as well. And we hear it daily. There's constantly new rumors going in, and we squash that immediately. We don't entertain gossip or the spread of basically false information. And that's very important to us, because it can be just as deadly and just as distracting as the disease, as any other issue. So it's important to maintain that focus. And I think having them focus on safety, having them focus on the right way to do things, keeps their mind off of a lot of the other stuff that's going on. It's very high stress for everybody in the world right now. We get it. We maintain a very low-key, relaxed environment here to ensure that we're taking care of their mental well-being as well as their physical well-being.
Have you seen the business activity pick up in the last few weeks as this crisis started? Have you stayed flat? Have you declined? How has it looked from your point of view?
So the industry is fascinating right now. We saw a huge surge the first couple of weeks, and it's everywhere now. We've seen, just industry-wide, a slight dip in sales now, I think, as more people are staying home. And obviously the economics are a concern for a lot of the population right now. However, our sales have, with that slight increase during the initial 2 weeks, they have maintained from there. So we have not seen a drop. So that's encouraging for the industry. It shows that it's strong and that it's a product and a medicine that people want and need. We're hoping, that it stays healthy for everybody. I want to keep our 85 to 100 people employed. That's my focus right now, is taking care of them, their families, and making sure that the patients get what they want. This industry is very, very important to millions of people around the country and around the world. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure that it stays that way. So we're staying strong. We're helping out even competitors and peers. The industry is coming together in a great way right now to assist and to pass information to make sure that nobody is left behind during this.
Yeah, I agree. I actually am a partner in a licensed grow, distribution, and delivery company out there in the Bay Area. And awesome. I can confirm everything you just said. The sales spiked and they stayed that way, which is nice. So it allowed us to hire extra drivers and extra employees in the operation for those people that may be out of work, just looking for a part-time stopgap to make a few extra bucks to get this needed product to people that really do need it. That's great. So where can people find more information or contact your team at SparqOne?
Sure. So SparqOne.com. It's Spark with a Q. So SparqOne.com. Check it out there. Menu, everything's on there. And orders at SparqOne.com. And that'll hit all of the executive team and all of my admin team. And we're highly responsive, and we'll get back with whatever's needed. So, and one thing we provide as well, just on top of orders, is education. We have a lot of compliance background in the company, regulatory, and that's local, state, and even federal, in dealing with even hazardous materials or whatever. So we're always willing to help. We're 450 licensed shops we have partnerships with. But outside of that, if it's a shop that we don't deal with and they just need some help, give us a call, reach out, and we'll help you out completely.
Great. So before we finish up, Andrew, give us one thing that you're super excited about in the cannabis industry overall and something that concerns you, independent of the crisis going on right now, I guess.
Absolutely. One thing that I love about it that I see going is more and more acceptance around the country. People are waking up, they're doing the research, they're learning more, and they're taking it to heart that this is a medicine, that it's helpful, and that it's not a bunch of stoners running something that's just for fun. We have a purpose. So that's heartening. One thing that worries me is continuing the play in the illicit market. I think that it gives the entire industry a bad name. I think it pushes more towards organized crime being involved, violence, theft, and all that. So I think as the state continues to refine their regulations and to fix a lot of things that are broken with those, that people in the industry have brought up repeatedly, and they're finally starting to move on that. I think it's vital that the illicit market is continue to be tamped down, and that patients and consumers, they go to those licensed shops. These people have put millions of dollars into them, and their whole heart and soul. So go to those shops, patronize licensed businesses, and we can all get through this.
Andrew Dorsett of SparqOne, thank you so much, first of all, for your service and protecting our country, and for also sharing your experience and your business experience with our audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Len. I appreciate it.
And we will see everyone next time on the Pot.Live podcast. Have you visited MJ.com? MJ.com is the online destination where you can find everything you need to know about the emerging legal marijuana industry. Where else can you find the latest original content, news, and trends? Connect to a local doctor to obtain your medical marijuana card, receive exclusive brand savings, and have your favorite product delivered straight to your front door? MJ.com has it all. Go check them out.